Good afternoon, friends. Welcome into my home and into my kitchen here at All Things Kitchen. My name is Jennifer. Welcome. If you have never been here before, I appreciate you stopping by and visiting with me, as today I am going to make some peach cobbler. And if you have been here before, thank you for coming back. I appreciate you. So today I am going to be making some peach cobbler. I have a basic cobbler recipe, and I made some blueberry cobbler a couple weeks ago, and my husband he told me his favorite was peach. So I bought some frozen peaches, and we are going to make that today. I also need to replenish my seasoning salt. It is very low. I only have about a tablespoon or so left, so I'm going to do that while the peach cobbler is in the oven. So go ahead, watch this quick intro while I get my ingredients together, and I'll be right back. Okay, friends, this is a pretty simple recipe. I have 1 cup of flour that I am putting in my bowl. And then I need 1 cup of sugar. Let's see if I have enough here in my container. I do not. 1 second. Okay. So 1 cup of sugar. I know it's kind of going to be... We'll make it work. There we go. 1 cup of sugar, so equal parts flour and sugar. 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to go a little bit less than that for us, doing about 3/4 of a teaspoon. And then 1 tablespoon of baking powder. To these ingredients, I am going to add 1 cup of milk. Just going to kind of mix those up a little bit. 1 cup of milk. 4 tablespoons of melted butter. And then a splash or 2 of vanilla extract. There we go. So I'm just going to mix this all up. I do have my oven preheating with my baking dish in there. I am using an 8x8. So it really depends on how much fruit you have, how much you want to make as to what size container you want to use. Like I said, I'm doing an 8x8. I also have a tablespoon or 2 of butter in there that is heating up with my dish. Put a few little lumps in there. That'll work themselves out. And I forgot to add my cinnamon. I'm going to do about 3/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon. Now I am using frozen peaches. Fresh peaches would be better, but frozen is what I have, so that's what I'm using. And the bag of frozen peaches that I have is a 1 pound bag of peaches. They are beautiful looking, so I'm really happy with that. So I just took my hot dish out of the oven, and as you can see, it has melted butter in it. I'm going to put my peaches in here, and I'm just going to reserve a few to be able to sprinkle on top. Whether they'll stay on top, I don't know. But I think this amount is a good amount. Like I said, it's 1 pound of peaches, and there's still lumps in that flour, but I am not worried about that. I'm just pouring that right over the fruit. Now, frozen fruit, of course, is going to give off some liquid in here. So this may not set up perfectly. That's okay. This is not a perfect household. I try to make it a delicious one, though. All right. I'm going to put this in the oven. Need another hot pad. So I put that in the oven, 350 degrees, and for about 30 minutes. I will check it at 30 minutes. Like I said, since I'm using frozen fruit instead of fresh, I want to make sure that it is set. And so it may take a little bit longer cook time. So while that's in the oven, like I said, I have my seasoning salt that I need to restock. And so I thought, why not? While that's in the oven, we can do kind of 2 birds, 1 stone. Yeah, I said that right. 2 birds, 1 stone. While we're in here in the kitchen, let's get things done. So I am going to clean up my mess and get everything ready for the seasoning salt, and I'll be right back. Now, I will link my inspiration recipe down below. I have altered that recipe a little bit to be a little bit more friendly for my family. I've reduced the salt. So right now I'm going to start off with, oh goodness, I just got salt everywhere. I'm going to start off with a 1/2 cup of salt. And this recipe normally calls for a full cup of salt. 2 tablespoons of paprika. It's a little lumpy. I will get all that out. So 2 tablespoons. And this is regular paprika, not smoked. My preference, you can do whatever you like for your preference. It calls for 5.5 tablespoons of pepper. Now I split that between black and white pepper. So I'm going to put 3 tablespoons of black pepper. Hopefully I have that much. If not, then it won't be 3 tablespoons. It looks like that's probably exactly what I have. I'll need to grind up some more pepper today. 3 tablespoons of black pepper, and then 2.5 tablespoons of white pepper. And so and I'll just grab just like a 1/2. So that is 5.5 tablespoons of pepper. You don't have to split it up between the white and black, but I just like the flavor of white pepper and then just a little bit of heat from the black pepper. So on top of that, we're going to do 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. And then 1 tablespoon of onion powder. Onion powder, I think it's getting a little bit of moisture in it. And then this is another one of my alterations to this recipe is I add 2 tablespoons of mushroom powder. And these are just white mushrooms that I have dehydrated and ground up. And then 1 tablespoon of sugar. So like I said, I will link the original recipe down below. And whatever I put this on, those onion clumps will dissolve and break up. You can see they're just, it just needs the right thing to do that. I'm sure your onion powder would be beautiful and wouldn't do that. So now I'm going to put this in my mason jar. I have my funnel right there, and I'm just going to pour this in. Whew. Pepper. Goodness gracious. Whew. Made me sneeze. Okay, so beautiful seasoning salt right here, ready to be used. And this will last me a good while. Since I had to grab my bulk salt out of my pantry, I thought I'd go ahead and refill my salt container. So I'm going to do that as well. And I do have a pretty large bucket of salt here, and this is Redmond's real salt, and I just buy it in bulk. And so I'll refill my salt shaker, and also have this. Just refilled this, I think, last week, but since it's out, I'll go ahead and add some more into. That was a little bit too much. The lid won't go on. There we go. So now I've got that as well. So just like anything else, if you buy it in bulk, you get a better price on it. And Redmond Real Salt has a, I think this is a 1 gallon bucket. And they have a bundle that does go out of stock quite a bit, but it's a 1 gallon bucket with, I forget how much salt comes with it. But it comes with a bag of salt as well. And so nice, and stays in my pantry, and the lid stays on airtight. So I'm going to go put this up, clean up the rest of my dishes from making that seasoning salt. And when the peach cobbler comes out of the oven, I will bring you back. And we will have to wait for it to cool down before we take a bite. But appreciate you hanging out with me today. Cobbler's done. Free steam facial. Beautiful. Let me bring you over and take a look. So it is piping hot, bubbling hot, and it did take about an hour and 10 minutes for this to set up due to the extra moisture with the frozen peaches. And I wanted it to crisp up a little bit on top and get some browning. So I did go a little bit extra. It probably was okay at about an hour to take out, but I wanted it a little bit more browned. Now I need to wait for it to cool off before I can take a bite, because if I put that in my mouth right now, I wouldn't be able to taste anything for a week from burning my tongue in the roof of my mouth. So I'm going to give that about 15 minutes. I still want it to be nice and warm when I taste it. So I'm going to give it about 15-20 minutes to cool down a little bit, and then we'll taste it together. Okay, so I've got a little bit here in a bowl. It's still a little steamy. Smells good. I'm afraid I'm going to burn my mouth. I might should have waited a little bit longer. There's a peach. I'm going to be honest with you. I think it needs fresh peaches instead of the frozen. It's not bad. It's okay. It's okay. I'm still going to eat it. That bite had a little bit of the corner piece in it. That was a little bit firmer in texture, maybe a little bit of crunchiness. That bite was better. So maybe I'll put it back in the oven for a little bit and let it cook for a little bit longer so it will get more crunchy bits and a little bit firmer on top and the bottom and around the edges. I would suggest fresh fruit or might could use some more cinnamon as well. I think that would have helped maybe if I used a little bit more cinnamon. So that's the first time that I've made that recipe with frozen peaches. And so now I know for next time what I need to do. Maybe some suggestions for you as well. Maybe a little bit more cinnamon. And if you are using frozen fruit, to go ahead and cook it so that it does get a little bit more crispy, or just use the fresh fruit. I think that would help as well. You could probably use canned fruit, drain off the liquid for sure. Because that extra liquid would be the same situation with the frozen fruit, having that extra liquid in there. But you could try it with the canned fruit if you wanted to and see how that goes. So I thought I'd just bring you along with me as I made this simple dessert for my husband, and I am restocked my seasoning salt. I still need to, I thought about it while I was waiting for this to cool down. I still need to grind up some more pepper, and then I'll be done with the kitchen for today. We're just having leftovers for dinner tonight. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Take care, friends.